Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavani Askatyade Satarine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Let's try that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Brahmadakacharya Asadhara Satushi Shiman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Lord Premanande Haribo Slava Zarani Bhaktam Slava Shigurui Shigurangi Namo Vishnu Vraya Krishna Prastabhate Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shinvadi Paskadyade Sadarne. Om Agana Timanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vasakans Vitam Scha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Shah Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hri Priye Vanchakapa Dribhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patiranam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures, text number 6. Text number 4. Dambo Darpa Bhimascha Kroda Purusham Evacha Agyanam Chabijatasya Partha Sampadam Asurim Dambo Darpo Bhimamascha Kroda Purusham Evacha Aganam Abhijatasya Partha Sampadam Asurim Darpana Bhimascha Kroda Purusha Evacha Dambo Darpa Vimanascha Purusham Evacha Agyanam Chabijatasya Partha Sampadam Asurim. Ladies. Dambo Darpa Vimanascha Kroda Purusham Evacha Agyanam Abhijatasya Partha Sampadam Asurim. Dambo Darpa Vimanascha Kroda Purusham Evacha Agyanam Chabitastasya Partha Sampadam Asurim. Damba, pride. Darpa, arrogance. Abhimana, conceit. Cha, and. Kroda, anger. Purusham, harshness. Eva, certainly. Cha, and. Agyanam, ignorance. Cha, and. Abhijatasya, of one who's born of. Partha, asanaprita. Sampadam, the qualities. Asurim, of the demoniac nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance, these qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, asanaprita. Purport. In this verse, the royal road to hell is described. The demoniac want to make a show, a religion, an advancement in spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. They're always arrogant or proud of possessing some type of education or so much wealth, They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability, although they do not command respect. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They do everything whimsically, according to their own desire, and they do not recognize any authority. These demoniac qualities are taken on them from the beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. And as they grow, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. Dambo darpa bhimascha kroda purusham evacha agana avijatasya partha sampadam asarim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance, these qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, osana prita. Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Siddharna. So Krishna has discrimination. Generally we speak of spiritual life as everyone is good, everyone is beautiful. Don't criticize anyone. But half of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is criticizing everyone. So does that mean that Krishna is not a nice person? Everywhere he goes, he's critical? No, he's the one who's actually properly has the proper criticism, but he's criticizing not out of arrogance, but out of, just like in an umpire. Umpire means one who judges things. He simply calls things as he sees them. That he himself has said, Sattvam rajas tamayiti guna prakriti sambhava nibananti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyam. That the material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And when the conditioned soul comes in contact with these modes, he becomes conditioned by them. And there are certain characteristics of each one of the modes, which Krishna has already explained in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is not that one can be in ignorance and display the qualities of goodness, nor if one is acting goodness will they display the qualities of ignorance or passion. So one can understand what mode of material nature one is influenced by the qualities one exhibits. And here, the lower modes of nature, passion and ignorance, are manifested by certain qualities, such as Dambo, Darpa, Bhimascha, Kroda, Purusham, Evacha. So one cannot claim he's a good person, but he's proud, he's arrogant, he's harsh, etc. But he's a good person anyhow. Just like sometimes we become enamored by people, oh, they're actually nice people. We think they're even nicer than the devotees. Although if you were a cow, you probably wouldn't appreciate them very much, especially when they try to eat you. He's a nice cow killer. He's a gentle one. He only eats the dead animal with a knife and fork. He never eats it with his hands, so he's a gentleman. So that's not Krishna's vision. In other words, Krishna is not so sentimental that everyone is good, we're all good. No, Prabhupada used to say, we're good and everyone else is bad. Not out of arrogance, but the fact is what is good is liberation from the material energy, from the material concept of life. Everything else is really bad. After all, if we're going to spend eternity trying to become eternal, trying to figure out how to survive in this material world, in a place where you can't survive, then it's the biggest waste of time possible. To try to do something eternally impossible is obviously madness. But then again, everyone in this material world is crazy, so it's normal. Matter of fact, we encourage each other. Oh, don't feel bad that you're crazy. You're a nice, crazy person. Just like in the forest, there are so many different animals. Some of them are not very much appreciated, like the tiger, or the lion, by other animals. But some animals are relatively gentle, like the deer and the porcupine and the rabbit. They're gentle, everyone loves them, the nice furry rabbit. But it's an animal. After all, it doesn't really have higher consciousness, and it is on the same level of consciousness as the other animals, simply interested in eating, sleeping, mating, defending, without any other higher goal of life. Similarly, when one is absorbed in the material concept of life, then even one gets all the necessities of life, then one simply thinks about false prestige. The whole idea is to serve this body, as Krishna will say in this chapter. Whatever the senses and the mind demand, then we serve them. But what is the senses and mind? What is the actual result of it? Nothing. There's no progress whatsoever of liberating ourselves from the material concept of life. There's no possibility of realizing that we're eternal, realizing how everyone else is eternal, having a loving relation with Krishna and everyone else, and living happily ever after, which is the end of most, used to be the end of most movies. The couple goes away and they live happily ever after. But no one lives happily ever after here. No one lives happily, and no one lives ever after. Only that's simply a reflection of the spiritual world, and really the happy ending is when the Vaikuntha airplane comes and takes us back to the spiritual world. That's the happy ending. Everything else, maybe if it's a progression towards that, then it's very auspicious. If not, then it's just a waste of time. And trying to enjoy pride and arrogance and conceit and anger, harshness, ignorance, if one thinks it's going to have a good time enjoying these things, well, you came to the wrong movement. Krishna doesn't agree with you. These are not auspicious. And as Krishna will say in the next verse, transcendental qualities that he explained before, although sometimes they not be of a very high nature, for instance, the qualities of a Shudra or the qualities of a Vaishya, are sometimes not taken as very auspicious. More auspicious than harshness and ignorance, etc. But it's like service to others, or gentleness, fortitude, freedom from envy and the passion for honor. They're quite elementary qualities, but they're very auspicious because they lead one to the transcendental platform. On the other hand, the demoniac qualities lead one to suffering. As soon as one may feel he has a good reason to be arrogant or harsh or whatever, but it'll simply lead to degradation. Therefore, Krishna says the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. So really, human form of life is the opportunity to get out of bondage, to make one's life progressively more and more auspicious, happy, aware, helpful, productive. Therefore, Krishna will go over this 18th, 16th chapter and ultimately conclude that it's not auspicious at all. It leads to the lower species of life, and perpetually, one birth after birth. And even if we somehow or another avoid the lower species of life for some time, and then wind up in the lower species of life, and then wind up again in the heavenly planets, but it's all up and down, and very risky. I mean, we have to always be aware of the fact that human form of life is so rare. The summer is coming, soon the ants will invade. And I'm sure one year at least, there were more ants in my room than there were people in Slovenia. And some of them may have been mayors of Slovenia, of Ljubljana previously. Or they may have been big, wealthy personalities or influential person. Now they're an ant. So what is the value of having a big position in the material world and later on you become a grasshopper? What is the glory? And even if you go up to the heavenly planets, but how long can one stay there? And there's always a risk eventually of falling back down. So the only auspicious path is Krishna consciousness. So we can't imagine how fortunate we are to even be engaged somehow or another in Krishna's service, because this material world is a very dangerous place. I mean, go out to Tivoli forest and see how many trees there are. Imagine if you had to go out of the temple and you had to go into the forest and you had to stand there naked during the winter. And they didn't give you any prasadam. Could you imagine how? And there are thousands and literally millions of trees in Slovenia standing naked in the forest. And no one has any sympathy for them. Because they didn't think it was, they didn't take seriously when they had the human form of life. They didn't see the opportunity to become Krishna conscious and take it very seriously. And they wound up as trees. And that's not the lowest on the species. So anyhow, we're very fortunate. And when we find ourselves being conducted by what's explained here, alarm bells should go off, and we should try to rectify ourselves so that we can avoid any possibility of entering into the lower species of life again and having to go through a lot of problems, more than we can ever imagine. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes. What's that? Okay, Mukunda Maharaj.
So sometimes people might say, why only Krishna consciousness? There are so many spiritual paths.
Could you name one of them?
Yoga.
Yoga. What kind of spiritual path is yoga? What do they do that's spiritual in the path? What is the alternative to Krishna consciousness? What is the spiritual path that will help us avoid, to help us go back to the spiritual world? What spiritual path is that? And assure us that we're not going to enter into the lower species of life or into a more degraded position in our next lifetime. Certainly there are other religions, and they offer some spiritual guidance, but generally they're mixed with ignorance and passion also. So they more or less will assure their practitioners are getting a human form of life, but not necessarily in the most favorable circumstances. Because it's mixed with ignorance and passion, animal killing, intoxication, illicit sex, speculation. It's mixed. So there's some acknowledgement of God and willing to serve Him, but not in a very sattvic way. What to speak of the spiritual way? You can't love someone you know nothing about. But still they acknowledge God, and they follow some principles, and therefore there's auspiciousness there, but it's mixed with inauspiciousness also. Otherwise, if there was some bona fide religions, we wouldn't have the society wouldn't be in the mess it is. Anything else? Hvala, Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Io si mette su Maharaj Corgente, tu possa vedete se da imajo to sango prva generacija. On mora biti prav čas Sparta. Imam je?
Ja, that's
Kaj imaš ta? Sahagana, Sahagana, Lalitash, Sahagana, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare, hare-rama. Veliki petek pravi, ne? Veliki petek prišel.
Super. Super, bo še maja, še enkrat. Fajn, pridem bomo delati.
Next to you. I see those children, they sit like this, sort of like if they were like hungry or something, or just sad, basically. But no, they have a phone and they just, that's the normal pose. That's how they always sit. They always sit like this. This is destroying me. See, you first you can see